All right, hello everyone. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be starting talking about technical illustration. We're going to be learning how to use a scale, and we're going to be doing a basic modified quadrilateral in our quote-unquote principal orthographic views, which are top, front, left, right. We aren't doing the bottom because the bottom's flat. If the bottom had some sort of a structure to it, we would definitely have to do the bottom too. So you're basically trying to describe everything. So what we have here is we have a scale. This is an architectural scale. Usually for things that are a little bit smaller, we would use an engineering scale. However, we're going to use an architectural scale today just because I feel like it's easier, and also it is good for knowing how to do architectural stuff like environmental graphic design and stuff like that. You would use an architectural scale. So it's probably more useful for you guys. So let's go ahead and we're going to get started. The example is on Blackboard. It's called the wood block, and I'm going to be using the measurements from that document to scale the model and draw it on graph paper first. First we draw on graph paper, then we mix and move on to layout bond. So the scale size we're going to be using is 3 inches equals a foot. So we're looking for the number 3. And you can see it right on there. Okay. So that's the scale we're going to use. And the way the scale works is just like it sounds. So 3 inches is, if we have a ruler here, there to there, and that is going to be equivalent to a foot. So basically we change, instead of drawing a line the full length, we're just drawing a line 3 inches long. So that ends up and gives us a ability to scale the model down, put it on the paper, and be accurate. So I start in the middle and I do a top view, and then I break them out on the sides using projected lines. So the overall size of the object, if you looked at it and how much space it was taking up on like a table, would be 1'6" by 1 foot, kind of rectangular shaped. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to keep it in line with my grid here. So I'm going to start with my mechanical pencil, and the number 0 is here, so that's our 0 point. From here to here, you see the 1, that's 1 foot. So you see, it might be better if I turn it this way. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1'6" would be a line from this point to this point. Let me move it over a little bit so it's more centered. Okay, and so here to there. I'm going to turn it around this way. I can't really see that way, so I don't keep my head in the way. Okay, 1'6" is from 1 to 6. Okay, and then I'm going to do a 1 foot one. So I'm going to put the 0 on that end, and then I'm going to draw a line to the 1. And one thing about these that are a little bit confusing but make sense is that you've got 2 scales on each side. So the 3-inch scale, this is 12 inches from here to here, here to here, here to here, and there to there. But if you look at it the other way, you've got 1.5-inch scale. So the 1.5-inch scale is going to be half that size, of course. So 1.5 would be 1 inch there, 2, 3, 4. So that's half the size, and so on. So there's 2 scales on each side. So you're paying attention only to the number 3 side. And don't think about the number 3 at all anymore. Think of that as almost like a labeling device. Call it A. So we're using side A here. All you're using is the numbers that are laid out here. And this is just the reference to the size, but you only have to think about it in terms of the scale here. So I'll put it back on the 0 here. And 1'6". I'm just going to line it up on my graph paper and close it out. So this now is a box that is at 3 inches equals a foot scale, and it represents the footprint of the object we're doing. All right, so now we've got the overall footprint. We're going to go ahead and start adding the features. So we know that we've got 8 inches up here, and then we've got an angle. So if I just kind of sketch the way it looks on our document, we can kind of see what we're working with. And that edge is straight. So something like that we're going to be doing. Okay, so now I'm going to go up 8 inches from this side here. So I'm just going to put this on the number 8 and draw a line straight to there. Try to draw pretty dark. You might want to draw a little bit lighter, but I think it helps to be able to see what we're doing. Then this radius is 3 inches. So if I come over from this side 3 inches here, I should be right in the right spot. And the reason why we use these 1/4 inch square graph paper is because it also helps to know that each one of these boxes is an inch. So if I place my scale right on the object, I can see that my grid lines up with the inches, which is great, makes things easier. Okay, so then I'm going to come over 2.5 inches from this side and make my next mark. So this is where the scale really comes in handy. Like, where is 2 and then 1/2? You've got those notations right there, the little dots or the little ticks, which allow you to figure out 1/2 inches. Then I'm going to go 6 inches down, and I'm just going to try to keep it straight. Make sure my 6 is lined up there. And I'm just using the proportions of the grid to try to keep it straight. And then I'm going to go 6 inches this way. Make sure. Yeah, that didn't look right. Okay. 6 to 0 is right there. So, okay. And then I'm just going to return it back up. And you can see we're starting to get the model showing up here. Go over another 2.5 inches, 1/2 inches here, 1, 2. Put a dot, and then I'm going to connect that dot to this spot right here. So these are just points with a line between it. Okay, and then we want to draw the topography. Right now it looks like this whole thing is flat, but if we look at the side view or even that isometric that is there as well, you can see that there's an angle down that happens right here. So the way we indicate that is the same way we did with the radius on the other side, is just by drawing a straight line. All right, so that's our top view drawn to scale, and then we can just erase out extra lines. You want to do that because when you trace this, if you don't erase the lines, you'll end up tracing lines you don't want. And then you'll be in trouble because you're using pen and you have to start over. So, and a mechanical eraser is really nice, but if you don't have one, any other eraser will do. Okay, so now in order to draw the other sides, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually line it up and just draw projector lines, the overall size of it. So I do a cross pattern on here. So I'm just going to draw a line there, draw a line there. I'll erase these out. They're just kind of guides for now. And then points on this same object should line up right there, because I'm lining it up that, right there, right there. This is a little confusing. Maybe it'll make more sense in a minute here, but I'm just taking these points that are going to be pertinent on my front and back views and lining them up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually turn my paper around because I'm now looking at it this way. Okay. Draw the bottom of it, and I don't have to do any scaling because I've already created the overall footprint of it. I look at my, my details and I can see that it's 6 inches high. So then I'm going to go up 6 inches. Okay. And I'm just going to draw that line straight over. So again, I'm just drawing the overall shape of the object before I come back in and modify it. All right, so now we've got our radiuses on this side. We've got the angle that's on this side. So it's going to be kind of like this and this. All right. And then this line doesn't really carry down because there's no feature that's being interrupted here. See how this line's straight? So that means this line is unnecessary. But it does help to show you where the radius is starting. All right. So scale down 1, 2, 3, 4, dot, and then match them up. Okay. And then the other side, 1, 2, 3. So that's the end of the radius, the other side there. And I'm going to have to clean that radius up. All right, then I turn it back around and we do this on the same side here. Once I'm done with that, I'll come back and show you the sides. All right, so now we've got the flat side drawn here. Let's go ahead and project out and do the sides. So. Okay. And then if I turn it to the side, one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the height, because the height doesn't change. Okay. Turn it around this way. And there's more to the other side. I'm just doing it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 2 up and connect. Okay. And then this 2 up to here. It's that front face right here is going to be flat like this. And actually I drew this backwards. This projector is connected to here. Then this gets erased out to here. Here. And we connect these 2 points. So the best way to think of this is if you were looking that way, what would you see, right? And then erase out anything extra and unnecessary so you don't accidentally trace it. So that's that side. Then this side is pretty easy because it's just got the radius, and that's a 3-inch radius. It's 6 inches tall, so we'll just come down 3 inches and draw a line. Okay, so those are your principal orthographic views. And now you need to transfer them to layout bond. And the reason why we transfer them to layout bond is so you can lay them out properly. Notice how it's like upside down and all around. Put it on layout bond, we lay it out properly. So with the layout bond or your marker paper, you'll notice that it's transparent. You can see through it. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera, but I can. So I want this to be lined up very nicely. And I'm going to use the top view here, front, back, left, right. And I want it organized to fill up the page and look nice and super clean. So I'm going to line up my page actually with the grid, find a good layout spot so I can make sure and keep it straight. Then I'm going to use a pen, and I'm going to use my triangle just because my ruler is a bit clunky. Okay, so got it nice and straight, and then you just begin to trace in pen. Very deliberate. Take your time. Take your time. You do it once. You don't, you end up doing it twice. And then the lines themselves will be wet, so be careful. Oops, and don't move. It's a good idea also to tape it down. I'm not taping mine down, but it is a good idea. Because when it moves, it's hard to line back up. And measure twice, draw once. Okay. And I'm drawing the whole outline first. You can use multiple pen types to create different line weights. Okay, so I would continue that one and then slide up the paper, making sure that it stays straight because you want it to project down. Make sure you have enough room for both the front and the back view. So I'm looking at front view here, back view there. That's a little too far, so I'm going to slide it down. I want some space between them. I'm going to title them underneath. So then I'm going to come in and probably right about there, tape it down, and do the next one. And basically you want to have them organized in such a way that through the magic of modern cooking, you can see you've got some space between them. This is a larger paper, but it will fit fine on the size that was on the syllabus. What was it, 11 by 14? That'll work too. You can see there's a bunch of extra space here, but basically you want them lined up, top view, front view, back view, left view, right view, and then you put your name on it, take a picture of it, and that's what you're going to put in the OneDrive folder for the project. So this is the second project. Nice clean lines. This is not the greatest, but I can see the student is understanding the concepts, and that's really what I care about. If this was architecture, I would probably tear this one up and say redo it and make sure your type is nice and clean and crisp. We also did hidden lines on this one, which if you would like to, you can do hidden lines, just imagining that the object is transparent. But that's the basic drawing we're going to be doing. So thank you very much. That's the basic drawing we're going to be doing. So thank you very much.